Well, good morning, and thanks very much for joining us. The recreational marijuana business is booming here in Massachusetts. 18 pot stores up and running, and dozens more getting close. Here for one of his regular reports and updates on what's going on with legal pot is the chairman of the Mass Cannabis Control Commission, Stephen Hoffman. Steve, great to see you.
John, nice to see you
Thanks as always for being so available.
My
we
pleasure.
appreciate it. So during the debate about the ballot question in 2016 that legalized the sale and use of marijuana for recreational purposes, we heard a lot about potential side effects. We all remember the famous ad with Kevin there. These included increased crime, buzzed or impaired driving, drugs getting into the hands of minors, increased addiction. Now, look, I know it's too soon for definitive official statistics here, but you, of all people, must be constantly receiving anecdotal accounts from police, from others, from what's going on in the field. What are you hearing anecdotally?
Surprisingly, not that much. You know, we built a set of regulations that I think are well conceived and very focused on ensuring public health and public safety. The issues that you raised we're concerned about and we try to address through regulations. We are studying the impact of the legalization, so we've got baseline data on things like DUI and underage usage, and we're monitoring it closely. As you said, it's early, but surprisingly very few anecdotal issues. Part of it is that this industry has been around for a long time, long before the ballot initiative, and I think what we're doing by regulating it is actually improving its safety and public health.
Are you aware of a single arrest for driving under the influence of marijuana?
No, and part of the problem, of course, is you can arrest somebody for driving erratically. You cannot legally prove that it's because they were under the influence of marijuana. So I'm not hearing that. Doesn't mean that it's not a concern. It is a concern. We're very focused on it. As you know, we had a sub-commission that reported to the legislature at the end of 2018. Governor Baker has introduced legislation that is in the process right now. So this is an important issue, but I think it's too early, as you said, to really draw any definitive conclusions, but we'll continue to monitor it and do whatever we need.
When can we expect to start seeing some real data?
Well, we
6 months?
We have baseline data. It depends on how you define statistically significant. We have baseline data. The industry, the first stores, as you remember, opened November of 2018. So we're, what is that, 6 months into it.
7 months.
You know, I think by the end of this year, you'll start seeing some data. It'll still not be definitive. I think we need a few years, but it's something we're going to monitor. We're not going to wait for a couple of years to kind of draw to conclusion. We're going to monitor it on an ongoing basis just to make sure.
Because we know about trends in other states, so that could be predictive.
But some of the states don't have the same baseline data, so it's harder for them to draw definitive conclusions about what's changed. We learned our lesson from those states, and we do have that baseline data, so we can and will draw definitive conclusions. But again, it's going to be something we'll monitor on an ongoing basis, not just wait for a report in a year or two.
Okay. So last week, the commission voted to go ahead with a pilot plan for social consumption. And you're talking about outdoor use only, no booze allowed in connection with that. You can't take leftovers home with you like you can with wine. The business has to show how they'll help get impaired customers home.
Yes.
How's this going to be workable? I've been reading up on the situation in Denver, where social consumption facilities have been very slow. I believe there's only one.
I think that's right.
Aren't these a lot of obstacles to put on a business?
Well, I think there's a lot of obstacles that are in place, but it's an important and controversial issue, which is why we're taking it slowly. But I think we're aware of the obstacles and we're trying to work with it. So where we're at is we had 5 cities and towns around the state work with us on how they wanted it to work in their towns, and that's they made a set of recommendations to the commission. We voted on them. I think it was last week, and it's a go slow approach. There's no question about it. It's a pilot program. We'll have up to 12 cities and towns, at least at first, and we're going to do it carefully. So there will be no indoor smoking. You can indoor vape as long as you have the appropriate ventilation systems. There is a provision for event licenses, which can be outdoors so people can smoke. But we're going to take it slowly, carefully, and learn. But I think the good thing about this is we worked with the cities and towns and made sure that it works that it will work in their particular communities.
We have to take our break, but just to clarify, it won't there won't be cafes like there are in Amsterdam, where you just sit down at the bar and you can light up.
You cannot light up, but you can consume. So there'll be cafes, but they will be non-smoking cafes.
Non-smoking,
You can do edibles, you can do vaping again, assuming you have the appropriate ventilation system in place. So it'll be a little similar, but not quite the same.
All right, we'll take that break, and we'll continue our conversation with Stephen Hoffman, chairman of the Massachusetts Cannabis Control Commission, in just a moment, so stay with us. Welcome back to our conversation with the chairman of the State Cannabis Control Commission, Steve Hoffman. And Steve, reportedly, police were planning to actively enforce the prohibition against public consumption of marijuana at this weekend's Boston Calling Festival right next door over in the Harvard athletic fields. In your view, is that a problem? Is that over-enforcement?
I'm going to take note. I'm not going to express an explicit opinion on that. Public consumption is illegal, at least until and unless we actually authorize social consumption, which is still in process, we just talked about. Until that point, it is a local law enforcement issue, and it's really not my purview to comment on local law enforcement. I'm sorry. I know you'd like me to give you a more specific answer, but it really is local law enforcement's discretion, in my opinion.
Okay. I mean, is it in violation of the spirit of the legislation if local police forces decide to do this?
I don't believe so. I mean, part of it is in the how. But, you know, the legislation, the spirit of the legislation to me is to allow for the lawful consumption of marijuana for recreational purposes in the state, to do so in a way that ensures public health and public safety, and to undo some of the damage that was done by prohibition. And that's why I said the how this is enforced, if it is enforced, the how is very important, that it's enforced proportionately and non-discriminatorily, if that's a word.
Well, I know there's been a big push to allow minorities who were disproportionately affected by the enforcement of marijuana laws in the past to get a piece of the pie that's evolving here.
That's in the legislation explicitly.
Well, just this past week, I believe a Senate committee rejected a proposal to establish a partially state-funded bank to help provide seed capital to minority entrepreneurs. You were in support of that measure, weren't you?
Absolutely, and I appreciate the Senate's consideration of that. It's going to be a continuing challenge, but we're working a lot of issues. We're not done with the legislature, so we're continuing to work with the House and with the Senate, with the executive offices. I've spoken publicly about this a lot. Getting capital into this industry to help the people we're trying to help is absolutely critical. We will not succeed in our objectives without bringing capital in, and to do so, it's going to be the state, it's going to be the legislature, it's going to be the executive branch, it's going to be our agency, it's going to be local cities and towns, and the private industry. And all of them are working on this with me and with the commission. We're going to get this done. This is, it was, unfortunately, didn't happen through the Senate right now, but we're going to get this done.
What's your understanding of why it got shut down?
I don't know. This happened yesterday, I believe, and I heard there were potentially some legal issues or concerns about legal issues about the federal prohibition.
Right.
I haven't had a chance to get into it in enough detail to really offer an
there is bipartisan legislation. I believe it's Senator Warren and Cory Gardner, a Republican senator from Colorado, to basically remove many, if not all, of the federal prohibitions allowing banks to lend and so forth.
Absolutely.
What would that mean to Massachusetts if that goes through?
I think it would be important for a couple of dimensions. One, from a public safety dimension. We do have some banks that are supporting this industry and are doing cash handling and cash management for this industry, but not many. We've got enough, since there are only 19 retail stores, we've got enough banks right now, but as the industry expands, we probably won't, and so we need more banks stepping in here. The legislation that you talked about, if it passes, will make it much easier for banks to step in. I think we'd see far greater involvement on the part of banks. The financing issue, I think, would become a lot easier. Even the banks that are currently participating in the industry, they're doing cash handling and cash management. Nobody is lending into this industry, again, because of the federal prohibition. So that would make it easier. So we're operating as if nothing's going to change, because we can't wait or hope for legislation. We're trying to make it work in the context of Massachusetts, but certainly if that legislation happens, it would make, I think, the industry far more able to meet its objectives in terms of equity and fairness and safety and public health.
Well, if I recall correctly, you are not a smoker.
By preference, yes.
Have you tried it yet?
No.
No interest in doing so now that it's legal?
No. It's again, it's a personal. It is not a moral issue. It's just a personal preference.
Right, right. And you voted against the
I did, but
initially.
mostly because I thought it was too fast to do something so complicated, and I was right about that.
Yeah, yeah.
It is very complicated.
Well, we really appreciate you being here. We'd like to check back in with you again in another few months.
I'd love
Get
to.
another update. Thanks
John,
so
thanks very much. Take care.
Stephen Hoffman, chairman of the Massachusetts Cannabis Control Commission. That's all my time.